this video, I'm going to show you how to solve law of definite and law of multiple proportion problems. The law of definite proportion says that the same compound will always have the same mass ratio of elements within it. The law of multiple proportion applies to different compounds made up of the same elements, and it says that those different compounds will have different mass ratios of elements, but the ratios will be small whole number multiples of each other. For example, if I have water, its ratio of oxygen to hydrogen will always be roughly 7.92. So the law of definite proportions would dictate that the ratio of oxygen to hydrogen is always going to be the same in different samples of water. But now if I compare water to hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2, they're going to have different mass ratios of elements. The oxygen to hydrogen ratio in hydrogen peroxide is about 15.8. So those ratios are different because they're different compounds, but the law of multiple proportions also says that for these different compounds, the ratios will exist in small whole number multiples. In other words, 15.8 divided by 7.92 should be a small whole number. And when I plug that in, I do get a number very close to 2, which is a small whole number. So you could be given a problem like the one shown here where you have two different samples and you need to find out whether these are the same or different compounds. In sample number 1, the chromium mass is 61.9 grams and the oxygen mass is 38.1 grams. Sample number 2 has a chromium mass of 76.5 and oxygen 23.5 grams. So to determine whether these are the same or different compounds, I'm going to calculate the ratio of chromium to oxygen. I put the chromium on the top because the masses are larger and it's easier to work with numbers that are greater than 1. So for sample number 1, that ratio turns out to be 1.62, and that's just 61.9 divided by 38.1. For sample number 2, the ratio is 3.26. The ratios are different, therefore these are different compounds. Since they're different compounds, I would expect them to follow the law of multiple proportions. And let's see if that law is followed by this data. The ratio of the ratios should be a small whole number. So I'm going to take 3.26 divided by 1.62, so the larger ratio divided by the smaller ratio, and I get 2.01, which is approximately 2. It is a small whole number ratio, therefore the law of multiple proportions is followed here.